to you is you interact with the community well. It sounds like you also have a heart really for people who do come from bad backgrounds. But any time in life where like we feel like, okay, we're going to be doing something and it's going to be really challenging. And I know some students, especially since we're talking about data, numbers, and ETL, it may feel like at first like, man, this is going to be really hard technically. So what are some ways, especially with these students, that they can break down that learning and they can quickly jump ahead of that learning curve and get time on their side? So what are some ways that you found that are like really useful learning techniques?
Okay, in the module I created for you guys, there are 10 techniques that I isolated on constraints. I'm going to give 4 of the most effective, and then I'll send you a copy of the full 10.
Cool.
The 4 that I came up with, it'll be the most helpful quickly. The first one is mental acceptance. A student has to absolutely believe in themselves. There's a term I recently learned called self-efficacy, and what it is, it's how you view yourself academically, physically, at whatever you're going to do. And if you view yourself in a good, positive light, and you accept that you can do a lot more than you've ever done in your life, and you accept it mentally, your body and your mind will physiologically work better to work towards those goals. You do create a self-defeating attitude if you accept what other people say, if it's negative, or if you tell yourself you're not good at something. You will absolutely create your own self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll never be disappointed with your failure.
Okay, cool. So you will believe in yourself when you believe in yourself, you will do better. You will have more confidence going into something.
You absolutely have to tell yourself that you're going to perform better than you ever have, and that you have the skills to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to learn. You have to walk in there with an attitude of success, and you cannot accept any type of defeat. You can have setbacks, but you can never accept defeat.
So if a student, just quick question, if a student, and this may happen, I've had interviews with a lot of people, and I can tell they're good, but they don't come off as good, right? They are very nervous, and they have a lot of self-doubt. So, if I was trying to give advice to someone that I was interviewing and say, have a little more confidence in yourself, how would you go about that effectively? Like for a student to believe in himself or herself, they may feel like, oh, but there's so much I have to learn, especially when they're starting out, that it's hard for them to believe in themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. They need to have the attitude. They need to think about the finished product, and they need to absolutely visualize success. If they can't picture the end result, which is maybe it's finishing a class, maybe it's getting a degree, maybe it's just learning this new skill, if they can't picture that end result, they're in for a rough ride.
Cool.
And they absolutely need to visualize their success. I've used visualization, and I've accomplished pretty crazy things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So visualize, if you're having trouble believing in yourself, students, visualize what does it look like to be the best at what you do. Like, what does that picture look like? And awesome. So visualize success. So they must believe in themselves. You will do good when you believe in yourself. That's one. What are some of these other effective techniques?
As far as mental acceptance?
Yes.
Just a complete affirmation. Just even telling themselves that I'm going to be smarter today. I'm going to walk in here with the confidence of a genius. Something that simple. I literally had to, I was trying for officer school, and I literally had to learn Air Force history, terms, just a ton of information, and I had a couple months to do it in before my board. I also had to lose 12 pounds in 12 days.
Wow.
And I did it. And it was, I can tell you, all I did was I studied people that were the most effective at what I was trying to learn. I studied runners, I studied wrestlers for weight cutting techniques, and I studied academic techniques. I made flashcards. I had to, get a large amount of information, so I did flashcards. I used colors. I used highlighters, and I read voraciously. And I made like little flow charts and maps so that I could really increase my spatial knowledge. You have a giant, the way I think of it is a giant dry erase board in your mind, and as you draw things, and as you make pictures, and as you start to learn terminology, these are all things you can use to make this unfamiliar subject more familiar and more readily accessible to you, so you're not scared of it. So that's actually the next step. The first one's mental acceptance. The second one is learn the language /acronyms terms.
Yes.
So if they're trying to learn all these skills, they need to start really jotting down what the most common terms are, or what the